From the studios of Foxboro Cable Access, located in the center of Foxborough, Massachusetts, you are watching Around Foxborough.
Welcome back to another episode of Around Foxborough. Thank you for tuning in. My name is Julie Love. I'm your host today. Today we have wonderful local guests from Foxborough Rotary Club. So let's invite them. Hi, thank you so much for coming in today.
Welcome. It's nice to be here.
Yeah.
Great. So can you please tell us your name and your title?
Well, I am Bill Garr. My official title is retired, but I'm a Foxboro Rotarian and a member of the Eco Action Committee.
How about you?
Yeah. And I'm Charlie Piper, and I'm also in the Foxboro Rotary, also retired. And yes, we have an Eco Action Committee focusing on sustainability that we've had going for about 1 year. So we're here to talk more about some of the Rotary initiatives in that area.
Great. So let's talk about Rotary Club.
Yeah.
So for the folks who are watching that have no idea about the Rotary Club, what is Rotary Club?
Well, Rotary Club is an organization. It began in 1903, that's how far back it goes, with a fellow named Paul Harris. Paul Harris invited some community people in, some other businessmen, and said, let's talk, let's have some fun at lunch, and let's also try to do some good things for the community. It's been growing ever since then. It has 1.3 million members internationally. It has 33,000 clubs across the world. 33,000 members across the world. No, 1.3 million members, we'll get this straight. It has, it's in 200 countries and 33,000 clubs. How's that, Charlie? Did I get all that straight?
So when did you join the Rotary Club Foxborough?
I joined after I retired and had more free time to develop interests like this and devote more to my community. So I've been a Rotary member for about 3 years now.
How about you?
I've been a Rotary member here for about 2 years, but I've been a Rotary member overall in Lowell, in Newton, and Framingham for over 40 years. So I've been a lifetime, almost, my whole work life committed to Rotary, and it's been a wonderful time. And I got to tell you, just this club alone funds number 13, 14 charitable organizations every year, provides projects for them, gives out scholarships to 13 or 14 students a year in the Foxborough area, and does so many good projects. And we'll be talking about a major project during our discussion.
Do you guys have a website that people can visit and learn more about?
Easy to do, www.foxboroughRotary.org, and that'll get you there.
So let's talk about your committee. So I'm actually a Rotarian myself.
Yes, you are.
And the committees are a little bit different than the Rotary International. So each chapter of the local club may be having a different committee. So what are different committees you guys have at the Foxborough Rotary Club?
Well, we have a number of committees, one of which is the Eco Action Committee, but we have a membership committee. What else, Charlie?
A parking committee, because we help park cars for the events at Gillette Stadium, which is a great way for us to raise money and then put that money back, all of it, to good use within the community, to charities within the community. An international committee, a peace committee, a community committee that helps work on distributing the funds and where we should put our money to help most in the community.
And of all the Rotaries I've been in, Foxborough Rotary has the best youth action program. Every year we have students attend RILA, which is a leadership development program for young people, and they meet on a regular basis, and I think it's the Rotaract Committee, the Rotaract group, and they participate in a lot of things we do. And eventually, when they grow up, they become Rotarians, so that's exciting.
Yes, I know Foxborough High School, Foxborough Regional Charter School's Interact Club, and then
Interact, right?
Yes, and then New Gen Committee, and then you guys do give scholarship as well.
Correct, we do.
We do.
Give out quite a lot of money in scholarships locally, yes.
And as Charlie said, we make our money basically by parking cars at the stadium. And we do, how many? Maybe 20 events a year, including the football games and concerts and some other stuff.
So with all these different parts of the Rotary Club. Why did you decide to focus on this particular committee about the eco?
Well, a lot of the clubs are really driven by people's passion. Some are driven by necessity, like membership committee, necessity. We need new members. But this one is driven by the passion of several people in the club, and that is sustaining the ecology and improving. And it's a very exciting thing, including a number of things like reuse and recycling, composting, healthy eating, building pollination gardens so we sustain all the plants on Earth. And we have a very exciting event coming up, but we'll talk to that more towards the end, Jury.
And my journey in terms of thinking about climate solutions, I think is kind of telling that 10 plus years ago when I retired, they were talking about global warming at the time. Not climate change, but global warming. And we live in the Northeast, and I said, okay, if it goes up a little, gets a little hotter around here, particularly in the wintertime, that won't be so bad. And then years ago, they started talking about climate change and the fact that all the greenhouse gases we're emitting into the environment are making forest fires and floods and hurricanes and tornadoes and droughts much worse. So that starts to get concerning, even though in New England here, we don't have that much of a threat of flood, for example. But I became more sensitized to it about a year ago. One of my neighbors was visiting Cape Cod, and I'd started in this eco-action group, and one of the initiatives is to think about how we use plastics and what the effect are on the environment. And this person I knew said, I was down at the Cape for the summer, and I went to get a big case of water bottles, because he drinks water bottles all the time. And he said, I drove around Chatham, and none of the grocery stores in Chatham would sell any water bottles. So I drove around for about an hour until I could find all these small plastic water bottles that I like to use when I drink water all the time. And I said, oh my gosh, this is where we're heading. Everything's getting worse, and personal behaviors are getting worse. So to me, as I was out for a walk today, we had a slogan when forest fires were an issue, from Smokey the Bear, only you can prevent forest fires. And so as I think about it now, years ago, I was saying, well, technology will come along. Our governments will help. But I think really the message now that I'm taking to heart is, only you can prevent a climate disaster in the world going forward. So we all have to take some individual action. And I've been involved in the plastics area because I think that's one that's easiest to think about and take action on as an individual.
But we have a member that's interested in composting. So we're all doing composting. I'm doing compost in my garden, and that's a process of using materials that you have, not throwing them away, but recycling them in a way that provides fertilizer for your garden. I've been a gardener all my life, and one of the things that I've been very interested in is developing pollinating gardens. And like Charlie is saying, this is something locally we can do, because we think internationally, but we act locally. Here's something that everyone can do in terms of making pollination gardens a part of what they do. That helps sustain the plants, helps sustain all the growth on the earth, helps sustain crops. So many things that we do, and without pollinators, now I think Bill Gates just came out and said the earth would survive, but I don't think we'd like the earth we have if we lost all our pollinators. And those pollinators include bees, include so many insects, include butterflies. So when you build a little pollination garden, which I have several, it's fun because you can get some plants that are very attractive, and then you can watch the bees. And they, people are afraid of getting stung. Those bees are after pollen. So as long as you just leave them alone, they're good. And watch them go. Watch the hummingbirds. We have several hummingbird feeders. They are great pollinators. Beetles, dragonflies. We had a lot of dragonflies this summer. So that means that they are going different places and pollinating plants around, and the earth can sustain itself. And that's a very important piece for us.
So what is the alignment of the Rotary Club test? So we have a couple areas of focus on the Rotary. How does this committee align with those?
Well, it's one of the committees. I think it happens to be one of the more active committees. But when it aligns with it, every committee takes a different area that they work on. And you know, we have Lou working on youth, and he does a wonderful job of meeting with the kids on a regular basis. We have a membership person. We have a person, Diane, who's working on a peace initiative, especially with the soccer coming. So everybody interacts on it twice a month, talks about what they're doing, and gets other people involved. Some people carry over from committee to committee, but everyone is active, and everyone is on a committee, I think, Charlie, right?
Yeah, and I think for our ecology group, what we've come to realize is the way we can affect some change is by starting to educate ourselves, all the Rotary members, their family members, and then start helping to educate the community better. And that's one of the reasons coming up on November 9th, we are premiering or previewing a film called 2040 at the Boyden Library at 2 o'clock. And that's a great film that it has a father and his children looking at existing solutions on a very uplifting basis that we can all work on and all think about to take action ourselves to limit the damage we're doing to our planet.
Right, and it's so dramatic, and it's by a very well-known filmmaker. He's won several awards for this film. But in different scenarios, he shows if we do pollination gardens, if we watch how we're using plastic and do reusable stuff, if we watch the food we're eating and eat more plant-based diets, the world in 2040 will be a better world. And actually the scenarios go from where we are now to what it will look like then. And it's fascinating. All the stuff we can do and the place we can be in another 15 years, if we all pitch in.
So you said November 9th at the Boyden Library
Correct.
at 2 p.m. It's a free film screening.
And it's
Yes.
free, and we'll have people there to discuss all these things afterwards if people want to talk about them. And I think it'll be 2 hours very well spent. And we prompt children to take their children there too. Probably better, 12 and up, did we just say, Charlie? 10 and up, something like that. So they'll get the concept a little bit better. But anyway, it's a very nice film to watch called 2040.
And what other activities are you guys doing in the community?
Well, one of the other things is, and we should mention this, is we have another bigger program coming up on March 21st. March 29th is my anniversary. See, I never can forget the anniversary. March 21st, we have another event coming up, and that's a bigger event. It'll be at the community center, at the Foxboro Community Center. And we will have booths set up around, and we'll all sort of show people what we're doing and how they can participate. For example, in the pollinating gardens area, we'll have seeds, we'll have plants that people can take, things they can start their pollinating garden with, some information, maybe some free handouts and books. And it's a place where people, once they're interested, and on the stage, we'll have presentations. Charlie will do a presentation on sustaining, on reusable things and plastics and some of the other things people can do and how they can recycle properly. And we'll do one on composting. And no doubt, Joan, who's really our leader on this and a passionate person about the ecology, will do one on healthy eating and plant-based diets.
And they all contribute to helping to reduce some of the greenhouse gas emissions. The thing that shocks me is that every year that's gone by, instead of improving, we're actually getting worse. And I thought about this, so I kind of homed in on plastics, because we can make some changes without much of any personal sacrifice in the plastics area. But if you go back to 1950, the world was only producing about 2 million tons of plastic. In the recent years, we're producing over 500 million tons of plastic, 250 times as much as we produced. And it's still growing. And that's producing over 200 million tons of greenhouse gases per year. And it's estimated that by 2050, it'll be 20% of our emissions of greenhouse gases. Then we also have the transportation industry with cars and trucks and planes and ships. That's producing about 30% of the greenhouse gas emissions. We can make some changes there. But food is probably the other one that we personally have more control over. And when you think about cutting down all the trees on various countries, particularly in the Amazon area and Brazil, et cetera, So trees are our friend and the sea is our friend. We're cutting down all these trees, and we have to fertilize the fields with fertilizer that increases emissions of nitrogen oxide. Our food is producing the waste and methane gas and a lot of carbon dioxide. So it's almost 30% of the emissions are caused by food production. So it's a huge area where, if you go to your grocery store, go to the fresh produce section and eat healthier, and we'll just by the simple choices help reduce greenhouse gas emissions.
So Joan, the head of our committee, would want us to tell people about the plant-based pledge, PPP, plant-based pledge. We're asking everyone to pick a day a week and do nothing but a plant-based diet, that one day a week. That's a start. And if we can reduce the number of cattle, the number of beef, the amount of beef people eat, there's a tremendous amount of methane gas emitted. And that's how people can take steps. And you buy plastic bottles and then you throw them in the bin and you think, man, I've recycled. That's not very effective and it's not very efficient. Keep doing it. Don't stop doing it. But replacing that with a water bottle, a Brita bottle, something that you can have basically, you can filter your water if you want and use it and reuse that constantly. You're not creating any energy issues, you're not creating any gases, and that's the way we'll take steps towards saving the environment.
Yeah, you walk into a grocery store today and almost everything you buy outside of the produce aisle is packaged in plastic. Years ago when you used to get sodas and Coca-Cola, whatever, it used to come in a glass bottle. It's all now in these PET plastic bottles. Right. And you can make simple changes like when you buy orange juice. Look at the shelf and you'll see lots of them in plastic bottles, but some of them in paper cartons. Much better choice. Or when you're buying milk or eggs. Some of the egg producers like to put the plastic cartons on because you can see all the eggs inside, but they're not nearly as environmentally friendly as the cardboard carton. So there's a lot of simple changes we can make, and each change helps.
And that cardboard is biodegradable, so it helps quite a bit. And certain industries have gone a long way. One thing I know is the cruise industry, and they just announced the other day that Carnival Cruises will not allow any kind of plastic goods on their ship any longer. Their water comes in aluminum bottles, and eventually they'll have other kinds of things they can use. They've been very effective in environmental issues.
Nice. So have you tried plant-based cooking or plant-based eating?
I certainly have. Our family has cut back a lot on the beef consumption. But not just for the environment, as we're all getting older, at least I am. And it's a lot better for your health to avoid having higher cholesterol and higher blood pressure and everything else. So we have a lot of chicken, but quite a few plant-based dinners as well.
I think, as Charlie said, we were headed there also because of our age. But we're finding it very easy because we designate like Thursday night is our Thursday all day is our plant-based diet. Do it one day and you find an amazing amount of things. You don't have to eat all tofu. There are lots of things that are grown that you can include in your diet and make a very healthy and very tasty diet for a day. If everybody in the world did it one day a week, think of the significance that would have.
Yeah, or breakfasts. I mean, it used to be fairly commonplace. Everybody would have, bacon or ham or sausage with their breakfasts. And it's really easy to cut that out and just have plant-based things, oatmeals and pancakes and cereals and grains and fruits and fibers and seeds, all good for you.
Great. So I know that this committee is pretty new, but what do you really like about this committee and compared to other committees that you guys were involved?
Well, you know what? This is probably the best attended committee we have. Everyone is consistent, and we have, 6 members, 7 members, and we all make the meetings. It's the passion of this committee that I love, how really dedicated everyone is. And it's inspired by our leader, as I mentioned, Joan Gagnon. But really, I think in the end, sometimes membership committee is a lot of work. It's nice to get new members. And some of the other things, I love parking cars, but I don't really feel that we've accomplished nearly as much as we do on the Eco Action Committee.
Yeah, I feel the same way. It's a very energetic committee, and I feel like it's something where we're accomplishing the Rotary's mission of trying to do good in not only your own community, but do good in the world. And I think it's really important because we could have an uninhabitable planet if we continue exponentially increasing in all these ways that are bad for us. The plastics, when you're talking about recycling on the plastics, and the reality is recycling, only about 10% of the plastics ever get recycled. And a lot of what gets recycled, they just put it in an incinerator. And so you have to truck it to the incinerator. The incinerator puts a lot more gases in the environment. Very few plastics can get ground up and turned into picnic benches. and
it's better than nothing at all, but it's not significant in what it does.
Right. So
people think it's more significant than it is.
Actually, the oil companies are forecasting that their production of gasoline, et cetera, is going to be going down. So they're trying to ramp up their production of plastics to keep the same amount of revenue. So we got some real challenges in that area. So not buying them in the first place is one of the best things you can do as a consumer.
So we would like to invite your listeners not only to join us on the 9th and the 21st, 9th of November and the 21st of March, but also join us in a meeting. It's very easy to go to one of our Monday meetings and come as a guest. And if you're interested in Rotary, it's not a lot of money every year, it's a membership fee, but you'll be part of an international group. And the international work we do, we're doing work in Nigeria?
Yeah.
I've been part of sustainable water projects. I've been part of health care issues that were done in various countries. This is a family of 1.3 million people worldwide, and no matter where you go, there's always a Rotary Club that welcomes you and will talk about what they do. But come to us, it's Conrad's, and you can give either, you can go to our site, www.foxboroughRotary.org, find out a little bit more about it, and then join us at Conrad's on a Monday night, twice a month, second and fourth Mondays.
What time?
So, well, I be there by, I'd say, 6 o'clock, right?
Yeah.
6
Our
o'clock.
meeting starts at 6. Good to get there a little bit early.
Great. Well, I know that the Rotary has district and then international level. And then sometimes what we can do is to propose district grants and then international global grants.
That's right.
So how are they supporting you, and how can you explain that to the audience, how this larger portion of structure of the Rotary Club work, and then how it's gonna maybe support? For instance, one of the Rotary Club got the global grants and then started a school in Guatemala, raised about $100,000. So now something like this project could maybe launch to a bigger project with the support of the district money. So
Yes.
what do you think of extending those options?
Well, I think they're fantastic. They allow you to do a bigger project. Generally, when you do the international projects, the districts try to have other Rotary clubs join together. So they bring Rotary clubs together to help a community somewhere in the world that really needs their help. In one of the Rotary clubs I was in, they had a fascinating project where, I think it actually was in Afghanistan, where women weren't allowed to become nurses. And they convinced the administration, if they got involved and they trained people, could they produce nurses? Desperately needed in the country. And Rotary International funded that project, and today they have dozens of nurses thanks to Rotary. So, and that was all supported by clubs in America. So that's the kind of scope and reach it has, and it's absolutely amazing, Jerry.
And as an action group that has both district and worldwide international participation for environmental sustainability, they publish a vast amount of information and resources that all the clubs can take advantage of to look at all the different areas, whether it's energy or composting or food waste or plant-rich diets. So they have a lot of assistance and help and resources that individual clubs can use and share that information.
And for us, there's an organization in Rotary called SRAG, the Environmental Sustainability Rotary Action Group. And they meet both nationally as a group, but they also have a local chapter that meets regularly. I think they actually meet weekly in the district, and that's a place that people can get even more involved if that's an issue that they want to really work on. It adds some meaning to your life and ultimately makes what you do effective in change and heading towards 2040. And we don't want to forget our November 9th presentation. So see that, and I think you'll understand Rotary and what we do in the environment a little bit better.
Well, great. Thank you so much. I think one of the economic and the environment portion of it, of the Rotary is very new. I know when the Rotary kind of started, it's more focused on eradicating disease, maternal health, and then economical development, water, education. And I think environmental wasn't added. I think it's recently added to the Rotary test and then the focus. So I think it's like heading that way, the energy and the money. And then I think you are kind of spearheading those directions. Do you have any communication with our district local clubs about this, or just right now it's Foxborough?
Well, we actually have quite a bit. I mean, first of all, through SRAG, because so many local clubs have people that have joined SRAG and meet at weekly meetings. So there's a lot of discussion about that. But we also go out and present to different clubs. We bring people in. We have visitors, and we report every other week on our activities in our environmental group. So it's a way of sort of bringing people in. And also community groups. We're willing to go out at any time and speak to community groups, to Boy Scouts, to other groups that are around, and that's what we do. And I think it's more of a passion than anything else.
Yes. Well, thank you so much. And I know that Rotary itself has a website, not just the Foxborough, rotary.org. So that's rotary.org?
And international?
Yeah.
That's a good question. I think it's, rotary.org. But if you want the local one, it's Foxborough Rotary. And if you want Rotary International, that's a fascinating site, by the way. You'll get a real good sense of what they do. It's rotary.org.
Absolutely. So when people are curious about Rotary Club, they can visit the website, and we can visit, if you're local in Foxborough, at the meeting at the Conrads.
And come on, did I mention November 9th?
Yes.
Okay. Definitely come on November 9th. You'll see a wonderful film, you'll get a sense, and you will leave there wanting to do something.
And March 21st.
And March 21st.
At the community center.
Yeah, and one of the nice things about the movie on November 9th is it takes a very positive attitude. Instead of fear-mongering that the sky is falling and doom is imminent, right. It focuses on some easy solutions of existing technologies and things we can all do. And it features the kids a lot too, so bring kids as well, because I think they would get a good message out of it.
Yeah, the filmmaker who's very well known, his name is Damon Gameau, very well known, and he includes his kids in this film. And it's won several awards, so people will enjoy it quite a bit.
Well, thank you very much for coming to Around Foxborough today.
Well, we've been glad to be here, and thank you for being a Rotarian and a fellow Rotarian and having us.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, thank you everyone for watching another episode of Around Foxborough. Our website is fcatv.org. Our executive director, producer is Michael Weber. Today we have director Paul Beck. If you want to watch another episode of Around Foxborough, go to Video on Demand and studio shows and check out our Around Foxborough episodes. See you next time.